All right, so welcome to Wednesday Lunch and Learn. It's a wild day. I've had a flood, I've had a flat tire, I've had a
Oh,
virus in my computer.
wow.
I think
That's
I'm kind of done with this week. I think I want to
right.
be done.
That was three. They say bad things come in three, so
Oh, so I'm done.
you should be done.
So, and here's what I believe with every fiber of my soul. I really do. Like when the pendulum swings, a little bad thing happens, you get a little good thing happens.
Yeah.
You little bad, a little good. But when it goes a little bit bigger, then you get a little bit bigger of something happen. And when you get a really big bad thing happen, then you get a really good thing that's going to, like life
That's
is kind of always give and take and ebb and flow
right.
and
Right.
inhale, exhale, all the things. So
You're up for something good. All right.
So yeah, something good 3 times is gonna
Right.
happen.
Right.
Let's go for 3 of them.
Right. Absolutely. That's
Oh,
fun.
good. All right. So everybody welcome in. Before I dive into I don't even know what. Does anybody have any good shares to share this week? Any good things happen, medications, clothes falling off? Somebody last week said she had to get a new belt, or she got a new belt. Now she's like tightening it up and going to the holes deeper and deeper and deeper.
Hey, that's
So
awesome.
those are all to me wins, wins, wins. You have to get a
Absolutely.
new belt. That's a quality problem.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So does anybody have a share or? Well, it looks like it's all working, so
Yay.
we are in luck. All right, so this week we're talking about the power of you, a little bit about mindset, a little bit about the subconscious mind, and basically, I'm taking my tips and my information from the book Think and Grow Rich, but you can switch out the word rich and just put fit in there, and you
Yeah.
can really use all the same principles. It really, to anything you want to think and grow a new business, think and go write at your own book, think and, clean out the
Right.
garage, whatever thing you're trying to achieve, accomplish, or experience.
Right.
Um, you can use these principles. So think of that in a bigger terms. If we get stuck when we try to do certain things. So hopefully this will be super helpful. Oh, shout outs for today. We'll talk about the power of decision, the power of thought, the power of autosuggestion, organized planning, perspective, the power of faith, and the power of persistence. And then, of course, as usual, we have Q&A. But let me go ahead and start with some shout outs. Now, I know a lot of you guys are not here for weight loss. It's just that this seemed to be the trend this week. Like whoever I talk to and they have a win, I start to write them down. But these were all pretty much all weight loss. So I have Rebecca down 28 pounds.
Wow.
Stacy, and I think she just finished her program or is
Wow.
close. Stacy is down 4 pounds from last week, and she's lost 26 pounds total. So she's doing great. Laura is down 21 pounds. Lynn is down 7 pounds in her first week. Shannon is down 20 pounds and thrilled. Christy, she's down 12 pounds and she feels so much better, and her sleep is improved. She can't even believe how different she's sleeping now. So that was a good win. And then Sean is down 12 pounds in 1 month, and she can put her wedding ring back on. She has
Oh,
so much swollenness in her hands,
yeah.
either inflammation or just swelling. But because I think that's in 1 month period, but she can now wear her wedding ring. So
That's
congratulations to
awesome.
her. And then I've got a few welcomes: Sandy, Kara, Sarah, Linda, Julie, Lisa, and Gina. So welcome everybody new. There's a lot more new people, but those were just the last newest ones. If I didn't shout your name, I probably shouted it last week, or perhaps I'll get you next week. I had a bit of a hiccup, those of you just joining. I had another virus in my computer, and literally 5 minutes before it's time for me to do this presentation, the lady had me squared away and fixed, but I didn't get a chance to finish that list. So that's why it's a little on the short side. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so we'll talk about the power of decision. So we want to deciding what it is that you want. So when I talk about the success formula, that's step one. Like decide what it is. What do I want to create? And it's like, well, we want a new house, we want a new boat, we want some new jewelry, we want the new boots, we want the new jeans, we want the new vacation, whatever. But I would say narrow it to something that you're really going to put your focus on and be super specific.
Mhm.
In the book, he talks about making the decision quickly, and he was talking about a comparison with people that have a hard time making a decision, and the people that are the successful people in the book. Those were the ones that made the decisions quickly. And so just go ahead and go for it. You can always, always, always change course or change your strategy. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a little bit. But you can always change your strategy. We're going to try something, it might not work. So we tried it in a different way and it might not work. And we tried it in a different way. I think yesterday I mentioned Thomas Edison tried 1,000 times before he got that light bulb. So don't ever give up. In the course that you might be on, if one thing isn't working, if you're trying a new recipe and that didn't taste quite right, add a little some of this and take a little some of that out. But play with it. We're gonna have trial and error. We're gonna have a lot of that. So you can make your decision, but you don't have to stay doing the same thing over and over again if it's not working. Dedicating your efforts. So I love to say, just go all in. I don't want you guys to try the program. I want you to do the program. I would ask you, and this is really me being a smartass, try to get out of your chair. You either are going to get out of your chair or you're not. And unless something happened with your legs in the last few minutes, if I say stand up, you're going to stand up. You're not going to try to stand up. You're just going to stand up. If you need to go do something, go do it. But I would say go in with all of your heart. Be open to coaching. Learn what you can. Put your focus on where it needs to focus. Surround yourself with other winners or other like-minded people, which is exactly what you're doing by being in this group and listening to this replay, if that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But go all in. And then part of that success formula also is, you've decided what it is, being very, very specific of what it is. You're going to put your energy into it, but the best way to do that is visualize it. And you want to just close your mind's eye, and you can call it a meditation or a rehearsal. Anything we practice, we get good at. Mm-hmm. And the subconscious mind does not know real from imagined. So if we rehearse and rehearse and rehearse what it looks like to fit into those old jeans or that old business suit that we felt so confident in, or playing with the kids or the grandkids, or whatever it is, the reasons why you signed up for this, just visualizing what you would be doing if you had that energy back that you so greatly desire. And you've got to do it often, and at least a couple times daily. It's recommended, if you ever listen to Joe Dispenza or a lot of these guys that talk about that kind of stuff, first thing in the morning and last thing at night before you go to bed. Last thing at night before you go to bed, you're getting ready to sleep and you're getting into a different phase. You're getting into a theta state, which is where your brain is, your subconscious mind is a little more susceptible. And when you first wake up, you're in between asleep and awake. And it's also, again, more susceptible. So you're conditioning your brain, if you're thinking and visualizing and seeing the end product and the end result, you're really conditioning your brain at night before you go to bed to calculate how we're going to make all these things happen. And in the morning, how you want your day to look. So visualizing it daily, but at least twice. And if you can get it the first thing in the morning and last thing at night, that would be super Awesome. That was it. I thought I had more. Go back. I don't have another one. I guess not. I would add feel what it feels like when you visualize it daily. Really go in there again, go all in and feel the achievement and feel the gratitude. We talked a little bit about gratitude yesterday and practicing that, but I'm so happy and grateful now that I have the energy to play with those kids. I'm so happy and grateful now that I can put my wedding ring on. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So I'm super excited for her, but but if it's not on yet, if that ring, and that's just a metaphor really, but the wedding rings of your life, imagine what it feels like. See it, but feel it. And then that gratitude will come up for it. That's very exciting. And if you can be childlike in that, there's a difference between childish and childlike, but how children pretend, right?
True.
There's a difference. But being childlike, going full on, if you ever watch a kid pretend, when they get it, and I can remember being a little girl and we would pretend all kinds of stuff, and it was just real in the moment. It just was absolutely real. I got a great example, and maybe you guys can find it on YouTube, and it did go viral. And it was this little girl, and she was probably around 5 years old, and she's standing on the bathroom counter, and she's talking to herself. You are so amazing. You are going to have a great day. And I feel good. And I feel great. And I am amazing. And I am this. And she has her hands in the air and she's talking to herself in the mirror. And she's convinced she is this amazing little human being. And she literally is convincing herself. Now, if that little girl doesn't have the most fabulous day after doing something like that, in fact, they say your body language matters. There was a study that had somebody going in for an interview, and they had, two different people, or they had two different times. One person went in front of the mirror and they had like the unconfident body language, and it was folded arms and heads down and all that stuff. And they practiced that for 5 minutes before going into the job interview. And then the next group of people went into the mirror, and one of the body languages for I'm a winner is hands in the air, because they even blind people, when they accomplish something, they just automatically do that. So it's a physical thing that triggers emotions in the body, whatever. And they would do this, and I'm a winner, and I'm great, and I'm confident, and I'm going to get this job. And they would go in and take the interview. And the interviewer didn't know which group was which, or they didn't even know what they were judging. But the people that all did the negative, I'm not confident body language, came out as uninteresting and not favorable. And all the people that did the practice of I am confident came out as interesting and favorable and were more likely to get the job. So it's really so impactful. Like we talked about, language, watch your language, because you are listening.
It's true.
All right. So the power of thought. What are you thinking? So as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, neurons that fire together wire together. So again, when you're visualizing and you're practicing on a daily basis, those neurons in the brains, the synapse. So you got one neuron to another, and then they've got these little fingers. I don't think they touch, but there's an electricity that goes between them. But when you practice that visualization over and over and over again, it connects them. And so it becomes a normal thought. It's normal and it's real, and that's what it is what it is. So again, when they fire together, they wire together, and it really connects them. Because you might sign up for this at first and you have a big number, maybe it's weight loss of 50 or 100 pounds, and that feels so scary, and it's almost unbelievable. But if you practice in your head, it becomes believable to those neurons, because they're wiring together as you practice that visualization. So practice success in your imagination. So the success formula is decide what it is that you want, making that decision. And then decision, visualization, visualize it in your mind, feel what it feels to feel, to feel the results, to have achieved it already. And that's what gets those neurons wiring together. Step 4, if you're doing steps 2 and 3 over and over and over again, you will automatically believe it. And when your subconscious mind believes it, it just automatically will go do the things. And that's step 5 is the action that you need to take. So practicing your success formula on a regular basis. And if you want more information on that, it's in module 2. And I believe there's 6 or 7 modules or trainings in module 2, but it's the first one. It's training number 1. So go in there and practice that on a regular basis. Yeah, and then, like I said, you've got to evoke the feelings. They say when you visualize it and you decide what it is, it's basically like asking the universe for what you want. But the way to receive it is through your feelings, and the feelings are like the magnet that will draw the results to you. And like I said, this is what instills the belief system. And once the subconscious mind belief system, we're unstoppable. It's the hardest part is getting to the belief of who we think we are, what we think we're capable of, and how we see ourselves and how we view ourselves. So when we finish the sentence, I am, be careful what you say because you are listening. But if you're practicing the seeing it and the feeling it, the seeing it, the feeling it, it will instill that belief. Oh, that was quick. It's over here. All right, then, and that's what he says. I think it's in one of the first chapters. Napoleon Hill says, thoughts become things. So the absolute power of thought gradually becomes apparent. So thoughts create feelings, feelings create behaviors, behaviors reinforce thoughts, and we go in some little circles. And I went over this a little bit yesterday. We have some life events. Those are what create the belief systems within us, whether they're limiting beliefs or empowering beliefs. And that creates the stories that we continue to tell ourselves. And so, sometimes we tell ourselves the negative one, but if you're practicing your success formula and your visualizations of the things we want, it creates the different beliefs and the different stories we tell ourselves. The stories and beliefs create the thoughts and the feelings. The thoughts and the feelings are going to be the ones that create the decisions and the intentions. The decisions and intentions will create the actions. The actions will create the outcomes, and the outcomes will create the life events. And then we go in that vicious circle. So the way to get out of that, if we have, I can't do this. This is hard. Why is it so hard? All my family members were overweight, or all my family members had diabetes or high blood pressure, whatever the thing, your story, life events. This was the evidence that you saw, or we choose to see, or that someone told us that we now believe is a real thing. It creates our beliefs and the stories, and it gets into that vicious cycle. So practicing the success formula with the thing that you're trying to create or change or improve about yourself helps change all of those subconscious programs. Okay, so let me move that over. So this is kind of the power of autosuggestion. So this is what Napoleon Hill says in the book. Autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the communication between the part of the mind where the conscious thought takes place, and that which serves as a seed of action for the subconscious mind. So repetition of certain statements, just like I said, you've written out your vision, your why. Why do you want all these things? Why do you want to become healthy? Why do you want that extra energy? What are you going to do with that energy? And if we practice over and over again, it's like self-hypnosis. It really, really is. They had a study too. I believe it was basketball. I'm pretty sure it was basketball. And they had, was it 3 groups? 2 groups. It was 2 groups. I was wishing they had 3 groups. This was a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember it. but it just came to mind. They had one group of basketball players practicing an hour a day, you know, on the court, dribbling, passing, shooting the ball, practicing their plays and whatnot. And then they had another group practicing in their mind only, in their mind only. And then at the end of the week, they both were doing as well, or the group that practiced in their mind were doing as well as the group that practiced in life. And I can tell you, as a dancer, as a little girl, I used to take, you know, the tap and the ballet and the jazz and all that stuff. But when we were learning a dance, if I was practicing it in my mind and then I would go to class, I could actually do the dance a lot better than not practicing it in my mind. So again, it's literally a rehearsal, and it's the auto suggestion is really about just conditioning your brain to thinking in a different way. What do I have in my notes here? The repetition of verbal statements to oneself in order to change behavior. Visualize. You can get a vision board. Where's my vision board? Oh, it's over there. Well, I'll show you my vision board just because it's an older one. And you guys can certainly do this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Okay. It's been sitting back there because this is about 2 years old. But I am a dancer, so I'm looking for my partner who can also dance. And then pretty much it was about finding my partner. I am dating someone now, by the way. Isn't that exciting? So maybe it worked, although he doesn't dance, but he said he's willing to learn.
You will.
But what I wanted to kind of point out about this is I didn't put the new car, I didn't put the new house, I didn't put the Costa Rica, I didn't put the new shoes or a different pair of my new cowboy boots. I didn't put 100 different things. I kind of kept it to one focus. And I think that's the one mistake people make with their vision boards is they got all the things they've ever wanted in life. The relationship, the house, the car, the jewelry, the clothes, the trips, all the things, and or the job, the career, whatever the thing is. But you got all these things, your brain is like, oh, I want the house, where are you going to focus? You really got to put your, back to the other one, thoughts are things. Put in your thoughts kind of on a focus. And I know you guys have lives and kids and parents and jobs and households to take care of, and you know, all the things in life that or volunteer work that we do. There's other things that you're going to do. We're alive human beings. But if you want to go into this and really get the most out of it, make it a priority and set some time to put your energy into it. Because like any course, you take a college course, you learn how to play piano, any kind of lesson, course, class, whatever. If we're not practicing it in our mind or actually practicing the piano or working on it, learning it, studying it, we're not going to get that much out of it. So give yourself some time to give some energy to this whole process. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of you here are not here for weight loss, but trying to stay away from the temptation foods, it's the same concept. Mm-hmm. And I say that a lot because lately people are calling, I'm in the wrong program. I'm not here to lose weight. I'm like, no, it's all the same. It's just that a lot of people are having trouble losing weight because their gut is messed up. And so we're here to fix all of those things. But not everybody is here for that. So just wanted to be clear, you're in the right place, even if it's not weight loss. Read aloud your vision often with the emotion. It will form the new programs for your subconscious mind. This is literally auto suggestion, aka not meditation, brainwashing yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is another super important one. The power of organized planning. And I did talk about this on Monday night, and you know, the quick thing that I said and why I really expanded on it on Monday is because I've seen a lot of journal pages with a lot of things people are consuming that were way, way, way off the program, pastries and macaroni and cheese and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm not judging anybody at all, because we all have we're all coming from a different space. But what it does alert me to is that when I see those things, the person hasn't planned. They haven't meal planned. They didn't prep anything. There's nothing ready to eat in the house. They didn't plan where they're going to work out, or when they're going to work out, or how they're going to work out, or how or when or where they're going to do their meal plan or meal prep, or all those things. So it is super, super important. If you're not sure how to do it, get in this group, ask some questions, participate. You guys know every time I get a question, I love questions. I just think it keeps the direction of the conversation going the way you want it to go. So if you're asking questions about anything, I'm sure somebody else is thinking the same question. So I know you might be shy. You don't have to put your camera on. You can type it in the chat. And yes, you can email me privately if you're super shy or private. But within these groups, we're all going through different struggles. And as a mastermind together, we're all at different places. Some of you on this call have already been all the way through this program even a year ago, and you're still here joining us. Some of you just started last week, and some of you are halfway through. So everybody has something different to offer and a different perspective. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. Okay. So yeah, you're planning. What will you do every day? Make sure that goes into your calendar. And if it's just making sure you have a healthy meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack or two, make sure those are set up. Make sure you have those foods ready, or at least somewhat cut up or prepared or partially cooked, or, you know, or all the way cooked, whatever, or ordered. Maybe you get a food service that brings you your food. I don't care, whatever's easier for you. But that's a daily thing. What are you going to do weekly? So plug in your days of working out, or weekly. I meal prep every week. I grocery shop every week. Monthly might be, I don't know, maybe I measure myself, maybe I meet with my coach, maybe I redesign my workout, and I take myself to that next level. That could be a monthly thing. But think of things that you can do daily, or should be doing daily, weekly, and monthly, and give yourself some time to make some of those changes and make those plans, so that you have it all in place, so your brain knows exactly what to do. The brain loves clarity. If I say I'm going to work out 3 times next week, that doesn't mean anything. If I say I'm going to take the yoga class on Sunday at 9 a.m., I know exactly where my butt is going to be at 9 a.m. on Sunday. It's just, you know, because I'll say that I got to take more yoga. Unless I look it up in the schedule and find the time. Oh, the 6 o'clock Monday works for me, or the, you know, whatever time works for you, and then put it in your calendar. So take some time to do that, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I know I wing things a lot, but this process, especially if it's new for you, it's not going to be your normal. I never used to do it that way. So you've got to set it into your plans. Enroll in an expert. You know, go to, you know, your social media. It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Follow people that you resonate with. You guys all followed Dr. Infantino at some point, or you saw something that made you go, you know what, this guy makes more sense than anybody else I've listened to. And it's just somebody else, he may not resonate. But with all of you here, I'm sure he did on some level. And so follow the people. They're going to give you some great advice. And it doesn't have to only be him. Gosh, there's a lot of really great experts out there: nutrition, fitness, exercise, meal prep, meal planners, people in the kitchen, cooks that are cooking healthy. Maybe it's someone who knows how to make paleo, and that's all they do is kitchen stuff. You know, follow them, get the good recipes, try them out, take the actions. Remember, that's part of the formula. You got to take some of the actions. So learning this stuff is great, but actually putting the things in schedule so that you'll do them. But, practicing these things and implementing the knowledge, that's where we really going to get the success. Keep thinking there's more bullets and I get thrown off by this. Usually I review all of this before 12 o'clock. So I'm more prepared. And I had that virus this morning. So anyway, changing the way you look at things. I've had so many people come to me and say, this program is really so easy. It's just so, I can have avocado on this. I can have a lot of more fats than I've been able to have on other programs. This one's really easy. And I can talk to someone who's doing the exact same program. And they're like, this is just too restrictive. This is absolutely way too restrictive. I cannot do this. It's not for me. And it's really, really unfortunate because usually it's those are the ones who are pre-diabetic or all the way diabetic on their blood pressure medication, fatty liver, all of the above, and they're the ones that need it the most. Yeah. And this program can absolutely help all of those things, absolutely reverse all of those things if you just stick with it, at least for the most part for the first 12 weeks. But just like the guy in jail here, one guy, all he sees is the bars, but the other guy sees sort of the outside, It's like it's all a perspective, what you look at. Yeah. So if you look at how restrictive this is, it's a negative feeling. It's a lacking. It doesn't feel good. And like if you're given it the emotion, that you're going to attract more of that to you. So you've got to practice your success formula with the feelings of what parts of it do feel good. Like when you did the cleanse and you made all 5 days or you made 3 days, how good about yourself did you feel? Like, I accomplished a hard thing. Mm-hmm. And that's another perspective. If you get through the 3 or the 5 or whatever you did days, understand we as humans, we do everything we can to avoid hard things. So when you do the cleanse and you get through it pretty good, you now change your perspective. Man, I can do hard things. Acknowledge yourself. That's not easy to not eat food for 5 days or 3 days. So shifting your perspective is really huge. And the way we look at food, that's another perspective. At first when I was trying to figure out how to lose weight, and of course I'm Italian and my parents weren't wealthy. So we had spaghetti at least once a week. We had tuna noodle casserole at least once a week. We had a lot of casserole things, which usually meant noodles or maybe rice, so I grew up with a lot of pasta and learning, trying to figure out how to lose weight. But, and then I'm learning about the low carb thing. Well, you can't have pasta. I'm like, well, I could never do that. And now I've come to a place, I look at pasta in a different light. I look at pasta and go, oh, that's going to make me fat. And I also look at making me fat as with a different association. And little transparency, I associated being fat with not being able to get a date. And it's not true. It's not even true. Men date the woman they like, not because she's skinny or whatever her figure. If she has a good self-confidence, he's going to like her. If he likes her, he's going to like her. But in my mind, the perspective that I had, so it enabled me to easily stay away from the pasta. So if you attach something negative to the pasta, it's going to be easier than, oh, pasta, I love pasta, it's my favorite. It's once we go out for pizza every Friday. That's what we've always done for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a different perspective. We got to shift that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as Dr. Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change. Just put on the different rose-colored glasses. Mm-hmm. All right. So a mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. And like I said, you practice that success formula. You see it, you feel it, it automatically becomes to believe it. Mm-hmm. And believe that you can believe you can, and you will get what you want. So if like you're looking at 100 pounds or something really big, dial that down. As Tony Robbins says, chunk it down. So what are some smaller things we do? So, okay, we've got this big goal over here of becoming from a diabetic to, diabetes free, which is possible, unless we get so far to the other end, then it's can be a challenge and maybe a lot difficult. But if you're just starting that process out, you're pre-diabetic or just moved into the diabetes, it can be reversed. I've seen it. So then we change it from, okay, 100 pounds or not being diabetic, whatever the big deal is, to what can I do in this next meal? Now, I believe I can make this next meal a good, healthy, low glycemic, compliant with this program meal. That I believe I can do. I believe that. So we'll start with the smaller things. Oh, I already said that. That's already up there. That must have been really, really important. You guys needed to see that twice. Okay, and then like I said, faith is induced by autosuggestion. So the more you kind of brainwash if you want yourself, the more you practice your autosuggestion or your visualization, the more you're going to have faith in that. So let's see. And Napoleon Hill says, what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And I'll tell you, the vision board I made before the one I just showed you, I had made a decision. That was my first step. I had decided to move to Arizona. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody out here, but I just had decided that's what I wanted to do. And so I created my vision board, and it was all about Arizona. And I had pictures of a woman on an Arizona mountain doing yoga, because that's yoga is my probably favorite form of exercise. I had just anything Arizona, just all throughout, the dancing, country dancing, which this place is loaded with places, and there are more of them opening up. So that's really cool. But that's what I had all over my whole board. And in the center was the road. And in the background was, the beautiful Arizona mountains. And so I was able to look at that. And by looking at that and doing the little tiny things, like what I would do was I would go to the realestate.com and I would look at Scottsdale. I originally moved to Scottsdale, and that was my target. And I'm in Phoenix now. But I would look at the real estate and just at different areas, what the prices were I wanted a condo for condos and whatnot. I also went online and went country dancing. Where's the country dancing? And I'm looking for that. So these are little things, and I'm getting excited. So it feels good. So I'm evoking the feel good feelings.
Mhm.
And again, I went on to match.com, checking out the men. Hey, I had to see all the things in Arizona, it's my truth. And my truth and they were all good looking, and some of them were dancers too. A lot of them had cowboy hats and sparkly. That makes me sparkle. But it was all the things in Arizona. And I was looking at the jobs and what the jobs pay, things that I could qualify for. So I was breaking it down into a little bit of chunks. And by saying, oh, I could do that job and make that kind of money and live in that kind of house, and breaking it down into little tiny things, where am I going to dance? Where am I going to live? Where am I going to work? Who am I going to date? All the little things, and connecting all those little dots. There was no way in my mind that it was not going to happen. And again, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job. I did have my room. I rented a room from a lady. She was just renting out a room when I first moved here so I could figure it all out. But I didn't have a job, so I had to pay her 6 months of rent, which I was fine to do, just so to give her the confidence, because who rents to somebody with no job? But anyway, we had talked at length and she had confidence, and it worked out great. So anyway, breaking things down will help you see the little pieces. I can do one meal. I can meal prep one time. I can meal plan, I can, all the things. I can exercise, I can do the things, but breaking it down really gives that faith. It reinforces that faith, which is everything. Every decision, every action we take, it's because of what we believe.
Mhm.
And I think about like, how many times have I spent a lot of money on a facial cream that I think, that I believe is going to get rid of my wrinkles. We'll smack down hundreds of bucks on dumb things. But if we believe it, we're going to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the power of faith is really powerful. So
Mhm.
there's that.
And also, that's statistics say that people actually enjoy planning for a big trip more than even the trip itself, even when the trip is good. But it's just that the planning phase, when people are really researching and doing all that, it's so real to them, and it gives them a tremendous amount of joy. So,
That is 100% true. And if you think about that, and I am the queen of that, like once it's done, now I'm looking up all the excursions, I'm looking up all the restaurants, I'm looking up at the weather, I'm looking up at the, where we're going to swim, and is there an ocean? I'm looking up all the activities, all the, and I do truly enjoy that. But most of us will spend more time planning our vacation that's going to last a week than they
yeah,
will put time into a program like this that's going to last them a lifetime.
yes,
So if you change your perspective on like, hey,
mhm,
wait a minute, this is going to last me a lifetime of
yes,
quality of life. So we
yes,
can go on all these trips and have
right,
all these excursions with pain-free and energy, abundant,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That I love that. I love that. In fact, a quick little story. My mom had shared with my sister, who's not my blood sister. She's just someone I grew up with. And so my mom has known her all her life. We lived on the same block. And so I live out of state. My sister lives out of state. So my friend Sam hangs out with my mom sometimes, which is wonderful. My mom's 85
Oh,
and they've known each other their whole lives. So my mom revealed to Sam, she said, what I would really love is a family reunion for my birthday, which is in January. And because we did one for my 60th, and everybody but my son was able to come, but the whole immediately family was there, and we spent a few days in a cabin. It was great. But that process, my mom spent months she packed months in advance. Like she was already planning, like super getting excited about the thing. So we were
yeah,
going to try to surprise her with this event. And my sister said, why don't we tell her? Because she's going to spend every single day looking forward to it, enjoying it already.
right,
Like in her mind's eye, that's literally practicing the success formula.
yeah.
She's
The
practicing,
anticipation.
oh, we're going to hike, we're going to tell
Yeah,
stories, we're going to do the
yeah,
whatever game, we're going to cook
right,
together, we're going to do all the things.
right. Makes
So
sense.
we did a Zoom call, and we revealed it to her. And of course she cried her eyes out. And she, to this day, we're in a group text. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't.
Oh,
But she's literally practicing and rehearsing it in her
yes,
mind.
yes, yeah,
But who knows if it'll turn out how she's practicing it. And like this picture on the right with the squiggly line,
yeah,
you guys, every one of us falls. Every one of us, the holidays are coming, and a Christmas cookie might end up in your mouth. Do not, do not, do not beat yourself up. Remind yourself, A, how many things you did right, and then come to me, and I can get on a call with you, and I can remind you how far you've come. Because a lot of times you guys forget that. I'm like, oh, yeah, you ate a cookie, but you lost 14 pounds.
hmm,
Yeah, you ate a cookie, but you got to buy a new belt.
right,
You ate a cookie, but now you can wear your wedding ring.
yeah, yeah,
And they're like, oh yeah, and we forget how great we are,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? So keep in mind, it's not a straight line. Your weight loss is not linear. You're gonna lose, gain a little bit, lose, gain a little bit, oh, gain a little bit, lose. It's nobody loses. If you eat some little bit of salt, you're gonna gain some water weight. So
yeah.
there's a million variables. So please follow the squiggly line and do not give up.
Hmm.
Power of persistence.
And I think I mentioned um, quite a while back that my daughter is a pastry chef. So the cookies at Christmas are quite prolific. And so part of my plan is to come up with some sugar-free things that I can eat that are not so bad. And, that's part of my strategy.
That
Still
is,
planning
and
on a,
that's good. And that's called planning.
yes,
That's
yes,
called planning ahead. If we're
yeah,
thinking ahead, oh, gee, tomorrow is a whole new day. What am I going to eat tomorrow? Or, hey, December's coming. We
right,
know it's going to be on the table or on
yeah,
the kitchen counter on a big tray or in that
exactly.
beautiful Christmas cookie jar.
Yes,
So yeah, and there is such thing as like almond
yes,
flour cookies made
yeah,
with monk fruit or stevia or the maple syrup or whatever.
right, right.
But good on you because you're thinking ahead.
We're gonna
Because if
try.
we don't know what we're having for our next meal, we haven't practiced the planning portion.
Exactly.
I do know what I'm having for dinner.
Mm,
All right, so to recap, decide what it is that you want, making a decision. When we're in indecision or we just want something we haven't fully decided, we're in procrastination. We're like, I wish I could have that. I wish I could fit in a size 5. I wish I could fit my jeans. I wish I had more energy, but it's just that until we decide, no, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm doing this. Okay, what's next? Start thinking about, okay, what do I do next? Thoughts become things. Thoughts are very, very powerful. Practicing your rehearsals in your mind with your auto suggestion. And then get some organized planning. If you're not sure, get with me and I'll help you. We'll do it together. Maybe I should do that as a whole. I usually do kitchen hacks. I usually cover that in kitchen hacks, which I just did. But get with me if you want. I'll help you. Shifting your perspective, looking at your food in a different way. Like, oh, pizza. I miss the pizza, or I miss my oatmeal. I had someone miss their oatmeal, and someone else came back with a quinoa recipe, and then someone else that's in our group, she has a business that has a cereal that you guys can go online and buy. And I just this morning put it on the Facebook group, and
nice.
it was like $13. And I don't know how many you get, and it's made with flaxseed and almond.
Nice.
It's almond something. So if you're
Yeah,
in your first 30 days, almonds aren't there yet, but it's getting to be fall and winter is coming.
yeah,
So we all like a warm oatmeal, and that's a way to get it done. Or
that's
you could
great.
just take some quinoa, add some almond milk to it, make it a little creamy, add some sweetener, and voila, there you go.
Sounds good.
Changing your perspective, having some faith, practicing your formula, practicing your rehearsals in your head will give you the faith, and then just don't give up. There's going to be days I don't feel like it. I
Mhm.
just don't feel like it.
Yeah,
Just okay, give yourself a little grace. Maybe you don't have to work as hard. Maybe you go for a walk instead of going to full kickboxing class, but don't give up. Do not give up.
yeah.
All right. So here is the scheduling link, the bottom one here, coachtami.drinfantino.com. So if you'd like to schedule your one-on-one, if you're doing the coaching, do that. If you want to email me any questions that you don't want to bring to this group, if it's personal or private, that's my email, as you probably already know. But now let's open it up for Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Or comments, and it doesn't have to be about, oh my gosh, time went longer than I usually. I got on a roll today. I think that was good that I didn't practice what I was going to say. I just,
Go with the flow.
everything happens for a reason, I guess. We'll see.
Right, right. Exactly.
Anyway, anybody have any thoughts or struggles or something coming up that they'd like to brainstorm on?
Hmm.
Hypnotize, self-hypnosis. That was the word I was looking for. I kept saying brainwash. The auto-suggestion is self-hypnosis,
Mhm.
and it's a real thing. Anytime we say an affirmation is a form of self-hypnosis. Ah, you idiot. oh, you dummy, or,
Yeah,
like, watch what you say.
yeah, exactly. Exactly right. You were talking about the basketball players, some that practiced in reality and some that practiced just sitting and doing that. And I heard of another study where they had some people they were looking to see about gaining muscle mass, and they had people who actually worked out. They measured before and after, and then the people just sitting and very specifically going through the same motions. And they said there was actually more muscle mass gain in the people who sat and visualized than the people
I
who.
think I've heard that and I forgot about that and I love that.
Yeah,
I'm so going to do that because sometimes I don't have time to drive to the gym because this house is further from my gym.
right. That's called armchair exercise. I don't know, but and the other part
Yes.
has other benefits, but it is that one study at least did show that, and that's interesting. So the
I
mind is
love that. And it's true, the power of the mind, the
huge.
power of you, the power that we have. And it can work, it can be your best friend, like in
Yes.
that case, but it can also be our worst enemy. Because I've talked myself right out of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I've signed up for very expensive courses and then
Yeah.
I decided I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to admit that.
Yep.
So don't do that. Don't be like Tammy and do that. I finished a lot of them and succeeded at a lot of them too, but like there's some that I smacked down the money at. It was like, damn, I wish I had that money back.
Be the little
But
girl in
yeah,
the mirror.
pardon me?
To be the little girl in the mirror. That's so cute.
Yes, you're amazing. You are wonderful. She was so cute. I think if you go to YouTube, I don't know what keywords, little girl in the mirror, positive affirmations, and see what comes up. But
Yeah.
she's kind of walking back and forth on the counter,
Yeah.
but it's the cutest thing, and it will make you happy.
Oh
It
yeah.
will literally make you feel good inside.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you start doing it with her, why not?
right? And she probably not only had a good day, but she was apparently being taught right by, good parents or family, whomever.
Good
But she had
example.
a great life, because to grow up from that young, growing up with all those positive thoughts and things, that's amazing. Just amazing.
I could not agree more. I would love to. It's been years. It's years old.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's another one I want you guys to look at. Oh my gosh, can't remember. Oh well, there's a couple of them. So here's a homework since no one's asking any questions. Write this down. There's a Dr. Emoto's rice experiment. Emoto with an EMOTO. Rice experiment, and it's less than a 2-minute video.
Okay.
So, but this is all about, I just said, watch what you say because you're listening. And he has 3 bottles of rice, 3 things of rice, and one container of rice. He says loving things to it. I love you. You're wonderful. You're super. You're amazing. And then the other one, I hate you. I hate you. You're terrible. I don't want you. Like very terrible, mean things. And the other one gets completely and totally ignored.
Yeah.
And in a month time or a period of time, whatever that was, um, the one that was spoken to with good was flourishing and fermenting and all these wonderful things. And the others had turned black and grown moldy and were just disgusting, really disgusting. So that's another one. And then there's another guy, and I wish I could figure out what keywords, but he was a very, very obese guy. He was on these like crutches, knee braces. He could barely walk, barely walk. And he was doing this yoga. So maybe obese guy yoga who lost weight or something. Miracle story. I don't know, but it's on YouTube. And it just shows him he doesn't give up. There's a persistent story. And he just keeps going and he falls and he falls and he falls and he knocks over a bookcase and he falls and he falls. And you're like, oh my God, I'd have given up, like
Yeah.
I,
You're
and
right.
and then it keeps showing him and he's getting thinner and he's getting thinner.
Wow.
And the very last part of that, I'm getting goosebumps. Oh my God. Very last part of it, he is running and he's a slim
Oh,
dude. He doesn't even look the same. His
oh
face
my
is, because he
gosh.
was so big, his cheeks were like chipmunks. But
Wow.
in the very end, he was running.
Wow.
It's so inspiring for if you feel like, well, you don't, you've got limitations, watch that.
Yeah.
And you go like, okay, well, what can I do? Like,
Right.
right? okay, well, I can sit, I can do some stuff in my chair. I can lay on the ground and do some stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I can do some laying on a bench or laying on the floor or seated or
Right.
floor work or whatever. It doesn't have to be, so those are some videos if you want some inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Anybody else have anything before I bid you an adieu?
Oh, I just thought of one other thing. You were talking about giving up pasta. And I frequently think how much easier it is in this day and age to find foods that are, better for you. I mean, you have to look for them. You can't just grab anything off the shelf. But even like with pasta, now there is the konjac um,
Yes,
stuff that has like next to no calories in it. Um,
yeah.
and so many of like you said, the monk fruit and all those things and they're much more readily available. So I think the
Yeah,
big
they're
thing,
in there. I find some of those, the It's Skinny noodles, which
yes,
are made from konjac flour, in
right,
the regular grocery store in my Kroger.
right,
There's Hearts of Palm um, noodles, and these are all good. This is the last time I did the kitchen hacks. I made you guys the vodka sauce with the pasta, and I used the
it's that.
It's Skinny. Well, it's basically, I was a marinade. I put all the things like onions, bell peppers, garlic, of course, um, maybe zucchini, whatever vegetables. And then I put the marinara sauce, just a jar. And of
Okay.
course I spiced it, seasoned,
Yeah.
spices. And then I added about a third of a can of coconut milk to
Ooh,
make it a creamy tomato sauce.
yeah.
And you guys, it was a bomb. And then those noodles, those It's Skinny noodles, they're already cooked. All you got to do
Right.
is open it up and drain it because it's in a liquid to keep them moist. You
Love
drain
it.
it, and then I put it in and I just stirred it, put
Wow.
the lid on it and turned it off. And then
Mm,
I finished my group call. And then I went back to eat my lunch and it was so delicious.
wow.
And it was just basically a creamy tomato sauce.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds
And
delicious.
and it was all compliant.
Wow. Wow. That and cauliflower pizzas and there's so much out there now that it's like say so much easier than it used to be, but it's still a matter of learning the different recipes and finding what works for you. But I think once you have some of those and those become your go-to and an enjoyable go-to
Yeah,
instead.
and I'll be honest, the noodles don't taste exactly like regular Durham wheat noodles, but like anything else, like the mayonnaise, like the chosen or the primal mayonnaise,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
little bit different, but you get used to it in a nanosecond. Then you're
Right.
happy to have it. And then to go
Exactly.
back, it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you will get used to it. I know some people are more finicky than others, but
Sure. Sure.
if you're at least open to the new ideas and, like
Exactly.
I said at the beginning, going in with your whole heart and being willing to at least try some of the new things. You're not going
Right.
to love everything.
No.
I had a lady that the pancake recipe, she came back, she goes, it tastes like fish. Okay, not everybody's, I know.
That one I don't get, but whatever.
No, made no sense. So Shannon is,
Sharing.
Shannon put a noodle link, the
Oh yeah.
protein white noodles. Let me open that up and see if,
Yeah.
so if you guys go to the chat and look for the link, she's put it there. Let me see if I can.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's
And
the It's Skinny. Oh, the miracle noodles.
and they
Yeah,
get pricey, so that's nice.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Definitely have to look at that for sure.
yeah. There's the It's Skinny right there too. I think I like those a little better.
Yeah.
The miracle noodles are almost clear, so they look weird to me, but it's all fine. It's all fine. Like I said, be open, try it.
Sure. Sure.
And the
Absolutely.
It's Skinny they have like angel hair, spaghetti, fettuccine, and I think they even have rice.
Wow.
And you can also buy a variety pack, so you get like a case of all of those things. So
Yeah.
you can like, oh, I feel like rice tonight, I feel like fettuccine,
Oh,
and
that's
just
neat. Wow.
and you can
That's
just do garlic butter with it. I mean, it just can be simple or it can be elaborate, but you can enjoy your pasta again. It's back,
okay.
baby.
And then at Thrive, apparently Barbara's saying you can get them through, get them at Thrive. So that's cool. Those are all good.
The link she put up there was Amazon, but if you put low carb noodles, there'll be choices.
Yeah.
But I recommend the It's Skinny or the Hearts of Palm. Hearts of Palm are probably a little better in the first part of the program, but you'll kind of taste it a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas the It's Skinny, I don't.
Right. Cool.
All right, guys. Well, you guys going once, going twice, 3 times.
So
All right. Well, thank you so much for playing, and thank you for participating. And thanks, Shannon, for your link. And thank you, Sylvia, and anybody else who was asking questions and participating. I always appreciate that. And I will talk to you guys all next week.
All right. Thank you, Tammy.